Hello and welcome to another match from the top 16 of our Czech DC Masters 2025. My name is Jiří Jindra and I'm one of the commentators. You might have seen me in our videos. I wanted to let you know that we are currently running a subscriber goal. We decided that if we hit 500 subscribers, we will release 7 never seen before rounds we recorded on a second camera during the event for free. And it will be commentated by me and Honza. But guys, you must hit the subscribe button. Now let's jump into the game.
I don't know the exact backlist, but Aragorn has lots of ways to remove any types of permanents, but lands exactly not sure how much. We maybe cryptic command if he even plays it, because we saw it in the Hidetsugu Keiri deck, but Aragorn usually doesn't play. Plays cheaper cards.
Some builds that are more controlish have it. Some builds do not.
Yeah.
If this one, we'll probably see, and maybe there won't even be a glacial chasm to answer, and there will be some other stuff going on. In the last match, we've seen the Ugin being really a huge problem.
The first time I've seen the Planeswalker getting to the ultimate and resolving it. And it was pretty cool to see, actually.
Aragorn isn't having much of the colorless thing that would be protected from it. Right now, this is nice. And we've also got confirmed that there is no cryptic command on the side of Aragorn.
Very nice quick start from Azusa with exploration turn 1. Let's see how many lands there are to follow up it with. If there is more.
But you can expect that there is a whole bunch of them in that hand.
Yeah, right. So, this is kind of alarming for Aragorn.
Yeah,
because
you have nothing. Your board is empty, no lands, nothing. You've got only your 7 cards in hand, and your opponent is already going on.
It's burgeoning.
Yeah.
So, another land put into play card and 3 mana versus 1. Good luck.
So you have 1 mana. There could be like Azusa, and you could like go off really quickly.
Right.
With that much amount.
Sylvan's
Crying again.
For land. What it's gonna be if empty board?
You've got a lot of mana right now. You need some payoff.
Going for the combo, or just a payoff, meaning Eye of Eugene.
Maybe
to keep searching up the Eldrazi's, because you have plenty of time, because Aragorn didn't really start the game yet. The thing
he
is
only
also,
has 1 white mana,
and there is only a limited options how much interaction he can have from 1 mana. So there is plenty of time to cast Azusa and go.
And if we are talking about counter spells, they are not going to be cast because it's white. It's just the Verge, and there is no land, basic land type already. And
just a War Room. We saw previously the Fallout version that's to draw extra cards.
And it is something that can help you because you've spent your few turns just putting a bunch of lands into the play, and
you can capitalize on that.
Yeah, you are left with only 1 card in your hand, so you need to make sure to find another card.
Yes, this is basically a makeshift monarch.
Yes.
Every single turn, paying 1 life and drawing extra cards.
Right now, the Oliphants were mountain cycled for Volcanic Island
to comply with the Verge.
You will have like all the colors that you need for the Aragorn right now.
And on the side of Azusa, there was no Azusa also.
Yeah.
Because there's only 3 lands.
And right
not
now,
enough to activate the War Room, and not enough to do anything else.
And with exploration and burgeoning, do you really need Azusa?
Well, it doesn't hurt to possibly take the monarch, be ready to attack.
But you would expose her to die to some horrible interactions like lightning bolt or things like that. So you can wait, and there is the drawing for 1 life, and this lands. This particular land is good against the combo decks that we've seen because it can
Scavenger
exile
grounds.
both graveyards, the scavenger grounds.
In
But
this matchup, it is not good at all.
Yeah, it's just
because
another land
your
on the
graveyard
battlefield.
is more valuable than the opponent's.
In some cases, when your opponent tries to resolve something like Snapcaster Mage, it might do something just to prevent them to get some extra value. But right now, it doesn't really developing the game state to be winning. And also the War Room, again, drawing
4 mana Monarch is going off right now. And there's the Azusa.
That's the Azusa.
Getting countered.
With memory lapse.
Yes. Putting into the command zone, that makes sense. It
Yeah.
is not important at all
You
if
have
you
as
don't
much
wanna
mana
deny
as you
yourself
want.
the next draw. Right.
So right now,
what about
you
now?
have 7
Aragorn
mana.
for 4.
Yes.
Jam it in, make your own Monarch, and start drawing cards.
So both players are right now just drawing cards and trying to search something really valuable to make the end to this game, but there is not much else going on
Aragorn is
apart
tapped
from
out
the
now.
Aragorn that can attack and block and do something.
I suspect some big creature or some payoff from Azusa right now, or not. It's just a draw.
Just drawing from the War Room.
Okay, good enough, I guess. It's starting to hurt a lot because you are increasing the Aragorn's clock.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anything to prevent hitting your face, the game might be over pretty soon.
With
actually.
Azusa, you just need to find something really quickly, something like that Ugin or
Chasm,
stuff like that.
at least.
Chasm, at least.
Keep yourself
at least,
alive.
To keep yourself. Ooh,
That's the
this is charm
Aragorn's
of
charm.
the Archdruid.
Yes.
Uh,
Doesn't anything because gets countered.
Yes.
There was a days carrying the Aragorn.
yeah, and
Which
right
is pretty
now,
fun when your opponent has 7 lands. It
yeah.
was
So Aragorn is starting to work, dealing some damage, gaining some life, and also drawing cards from the Monarch. 4 lands are being untapped.
even discarded to hand size because
Yes.
there's just so much interaction.
And when
nothing
you are
to use it
discarding
on.
something like it's the discharge. I think.
the energy bolt
Yes.
damage to creature.
A galvanic discharge.
Yes.
So what does it say about your hand that you are that much confident?
You are prepared for anything. Almost.
Because you don't even care if your opponent replaces something like Azusa, because there must be really a hand full of interaction.
There's not a good idea to replay Azusa. It's not worth the 5 mana at all. There has to be something to do on Azusa's side, right? He can't just keep briefing in the war room until he's dead.
Yeah. The game plan was strong, but there is like 3 or 4 turns where you are just spending 4 lands, drawing a card and losing 1 life every single time. So you are even helping your opponent to close out the game.
Yeah, you can only do it so many times, and you need some
And I
payoff.
think there is like the brainstorm, the special art that the Final Fantasy brings to the table.
I believe so. Yes, it looks like it.
3 cards have been drawn, 2 will be put back. So I think that the already good hand was also upgraded.
Yeah. There has to be like so many cards. There might be some creature to put on the even more pressure. Maybe
Yes.
that would be the best idea right now. And Azusa doesn't have anything.
Nothing. There was just a draw step, developing mana. Ooh, this is interesting. Are you familiar with this card?
Yes, the Talon Gates of Mangara.
Yes.
It puts into play and it phases.
Because
some
this card
creature.
has also an activated ability. For 4, you can just put it onto the battlefield to make something phase out, and I think that's right now the case. Just
Not exactly. It's put into play in
Ooh,
response
from
of
the
fact
burgeoning.
From the burgeoning. That means
but still has the effect.
yeah, but it still should come into play tapped
Yeah.
from burgeoning. I believe so, maybe.
I'm
Or
not sure. I think that the
Wow,
burgeoning
it's
is.
Yeah, no. Just
you
put
just
into
put it
play.
onto the
I don't know
battlefield.
why I thought it comes into play tapped. Some weird interaction from some other cards, maybe.
So right now the trigger is being on the stack. Is Aragorn going to phase out or not?
Tishana's Time Binder.
Might
I
be.
believe.
There is a lot of yes.
I saw it previously in the head.
I
am not
I thought that you are some kind of
seer.
seer or prophet, but seeing the card in hand, that really.
It does both things. It allows Aragorn to hit now for 4 damage, and it also puts on a lethal next turn.
Yes.
Getting 2 things at the same time, and it's really worth the mana.
You still have
to
the
pay for.
mana open to answer something.
So,
Drawing cards from
what's gonna
Monarch.
Azusa do?
You've got full grip of 7.
Only 2 lands to play with this turn, though, so it can limit the amount of interaction you can have.
And it's weird because the Azusa was the starting player. At one moment there was like 3 lands on the side of Azusa and a bunch of enchantments and only one verge on the side of Aragorn. And right now what we see is really different board state.
The Rumble, Eldrazi Mill.
That is one of the best commands that you can think of right now.
Yes.
The Malevolent Rumble that also ramps you, fills your graveyard, and helps you to get the best permanent from the top 4 cards of your library.
Yeah, I love the card in Winter, for example, because it provides you with milling the card and also the ramp to put the commander in play on
Everything
turn
you want
earlier.
when you are thinking about the Golgari Winter.
Okay, but what's the... Crucible is put into play, or the hand.
Yes.
And Eldrazi token is there, but
Should be.
that's still not anything that solves the situation.
Yes. And Aragorn should be really happy about it. Well, the Eldrazi token right now does one more thing. It makes sure that if it's not answered, your opponent cannot close out the game the next turn because it can just simply block.
Not with Aragorn in play, though.
That is something I always forget about.
Yeah, right.
You're right.
The Aragorn is so OP, it does even that. You cannot block it and you just hit it. Oh, so what's up with the Talons? It's not in play, right?
Sure.
It didn't resolve and the Aragorn should be in play. Right? Or what are... Players are talking about something, for example, what is the out that Azusa can have? I don't... Yeah, there's a Vesuva that can copy the Talon Gaze, but it's only during the turn, and Aragorn will just be able to attack regardless. Yes. Azusa is fetching. I hope there will be some at least payoff to reward us for the waiting, because now it still looks like the game is over right now.
And you are losing life in the process. Right now you're at 5, and if you don't find anything, you are going to die really quickly.
There should be a glacial chasm somewhere.
Yeah.
I hope. Or the food producing land that comes into play untapped.
Yes.
The cottage.
The cottage, the green cottage
from
on the chicken legs.
Yes.
With
From
probably
the Eldraine.
From the Wilds of Eldraine set, probably having some hag in, providing you with food.
The hag is Azusa and brings you some nice, tasty looking food token.
Yes.
So that at least puts you at 8 life and outside of the range of the next attack.
I'm just trying to decipher the token, what is really in the bin. It seems like kind of fruit or avocado, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like avocados. It's some kind of fruit, definitely.
But that makes sense. Azusa is green, avocado is green, so
Yeah,
really
you cannot.
food in the theme.
You can expect
Azusa.
just slab of meat inside there, right?
Yeah, imagine Azusa like eating a good beef steak.
Yeah, that
Doesn't feel right.
slightly unlore friendly. I guess. What Aragorn's gonna do about that? Lightning bolt?
Does he need to do anything about
Not
it?
really. Just untap, attack with everything, hit for mark bunch, draw another card, and have enough interaction to prevent anything that come into play next turn.
Yes. So right now you have only 2 lands. So if there be like multiple spells from Azusa, there could be something, but probably not enough.
Yeah, do at least some. I think the player is deciding playing Azusa and casting or playing some lands from graveyard thanks to the Crucible.
Yes. But still, you are using 5 mana to get like 3 lands.
Yeah,
That's
if
not
you
that
have
much. You're losing mana in the process.
right, if you don't have anything else to get, which would pretty much show based on what the game looked like previously, just drawing a card and doing nothing much.
So when we have a little bit of time, if you are here with us all the day has been long. So big kudos to you if you've spent your whole day watching Duel Commander. It's kind of a great achievement. So
This was
you
a
are
really
awesome.
exciting day. We've hit very interesting matchup today. Lots of new and different generals, and the games were very interesting and exciting as well.
So this card is some kind of elf druid. I'm not familiar which one.
Maybe the one that makes
4
your
mana.
lands be forests, so you can fetch for any land you want.
I think it might be the case.
I don't know the name of all of that.
Me
card.
neither. But it's just the play and pass, so the Aragorn gets to untap his lands. And not even fetching for
The second name is
Mystery Forest.
Pilgrim.
Yeah,
Maybe?
it's I guess
Some
it's
pilgrim.
some kind of pilgrim. If you know the card, write us in chat and
Yeah,
we'll
help us
probably-
out, please.
because sometimes even we are lost.
Yeah, root path,
Ooh,
purifier.
purifier.
But I completely missed on the name, but
Yeah.
got the effect right at least. I noticed how the Azusa player searched for the fetch lands, that there's a way to get.
You have the Crucible. You have this.
You
so
can
you
have the glacial chasm,
Yeah.
then the shifting woodland, and you can might be good.
Yeah, but you've passed your turn, and the Aragorn says that you're not blocking, and you have 7.
Yes,
With the food being eaten,
you have 8.
it would be 1 of lethal.
Exactly. That's the play. That's the idea, I believe, under this play, the game plan of Azusa.
So I think that the Azusa player right now was seeing the Aragorn because it was turned around just to make sure and to read that nothing can be blocked right now as long as there is Monarch on the Michal's side of the table.
Right.
The food is being eaten,
Chomp.
or right now the stifle would be really interesting.
Yeah, that would work as well. Definitely.
But it's not the case. Sam Bosco goes to 1 life after the combat. Michal gets even more life. And what is this? Ooh, Teferi.
That
Just to
doesn't
make
do
sure
much.
that his opponent cannot do anything in the process.
In this turn, maybe
This
followed
turn.
up with lightning bolt, or bouncing the Tisharis Timemeter to be
Yes.
ready to answer. The problem is that Azusa cannot even use the fetch lands to search for lands because there is only 1 life.
Yes?
Another fetch land would be lethal.
Yeah. So you've created the game plan where you can fetch for like any land in your graveyard, but when you are on 1 life,
Yeah, it's not really
it's
a
not
good idea.
possible. And it really reminds me of that last game when we had the Hidetsugu and Kairi
Yes.
on 1 life against the Wilson, and it was probably like the same same situation where you couldn't do the force of will because your life total was too low.
Yeah, but as we saw previously and twice in a row, player on one life was be able to turn the game around. Is Sam going to be able to turn the game around? We'll see.
We'll see. There's really a lot of lands going on. There is like a lot of. I'm not gonna count it. It's enough for nearly anything that he wants to do.
We all know about, including players, the additional Timebinder that is here to ruin the day and to disrupt some crucial moving part on Azusa's side to stay alive.
The trouble is, if he wants to do something through casting spells, he needs to do it now because of that Teferi Time Reveler on the battlefield. Right now, the Pact would probably be going, searching for the best creature in your library.
Interesting play because if Michal would counter this, he doesn't have enough mana to cast the Timebinder, which might be even more relevant later in this turn.
There is a possibility that he could counter the triggered ability of Pact of Summoning Fire.
Well, yeah, that would be the case. Maybe.
So,
no, just showing the Tijuana spot. I meant because it's a known card, so just showing up.
Just some reading to make sure how the card works because the text on it is quite long and it cannot counter everything. And also the interesting thing that it can counter any activated or triggered ability, but only artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers get disabled. So anything else is not.
So lands
still work.
And we have Primeval Titan, classic, been in the dual commander allowed since almost its inception.
And this card is being played on multiple formats, performing really well, and this I guess is some kind of
It's Judge promo.
I think believe. I also think that's the Judge promo.
Right. So is this the time for the Timebinder? That's the question, because this is a way to get the glacial chasm to prolong the game, to stay alive.
I guess so.
Is this the right time?
If not, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, well, Azusa might have some other play going on. It might not be the only option.
How can Azusa prevent the Tishana's Tidebinder from preventing that Primeval Titan's trigger?
Well, by casting something else that is even more relevant, and this...
Yeah, but you have only 5 mana left.
Yeah, it's
You've
not much,
searched
definitely.
for the best thing. If the Primeval Titan works only as a decoy for better plan that is already in the hand,
that's what it's for.
Absolutely genius.
Crazy, right?
But I don't expect that.
Yeah.
But I would be really surprised if I see it, and happily surprised.
That would be so insane. Genius from Azusa's side.
So it's fetching number 1
Playing it
from
like
one fetch, and you are only answered with 2. Ooh,
dress down.
This is dress down.
This is a way to prevent anything going on. Also turning off the pilgrim, as I said. So
have you ever wondered what the Primeval Titan is wearing under like that first skirt?
Yes.
Nothing, because there are no abilities under it.
Right.
He's dressed down now.
Maybe not.
Or maybe not.
It is a permanent that can be destroyed. Crop rotation.
Crop rotation.
So wait, it was a decoy, but it got misstepped.
Yeah.
Actually, and this is the end, perhaps.
Yeah.
Most likely, because dress down prevents ETB. Crop rotation got misstepped, and then Aragorn has a free path to finish the game.
If you pass, the Teferi Time Reveler makes sure that you...
Wait, not exactly, because there is dress down, so the creatures can block now. There is also...
No, the dress down is going to be sacrificed at the end step.
Sorry, I thought it was the Aragorn's turn already.
Yeah.
I thought there's a
No. But we can see the Vesuva...
Copying. Oh, wait. It doesn't create the food if it's tapped, I believe. If Vesuva come into play tapped and the land that creates the food doesn't make
And
the
what
food.
where ended the talons? Because you can see the Aragorn right now.
Wait, what? Can we have a confirmation of the what's the land?
I
Footage
don't of the food
Yes, yes.
being
Please.
generated, and also the Aragorn phasing out.
Might have a judge call from that.
Yeah, just a small assurance that everything is happening in a correct way.
Yeah, I believe that.
We just want to know if the food has been appearing correctly.
Okay.
So it seems that the gingerbread house has been played from the graveyard. In that case, gingerbread cabin. In that case, it would create the food. So, yeah. So you got it confirmed.
It was a very quick play, so we just make sure that everything happened correctly. The cottage was or whatever was sacked to
Yes,
crop rotation
and
and
replayed
then
from the graveyard.
yes, and it entered
But
untapped.
for
So
life,
it's still not enough, right?
it's still precisely the Aragorn size.
Yes. Aragorn size hole. Right to close up the game. Unless there is something else I'm not seeing.
Me neither. There are some blockers right now because the monarch has been stolen.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
The elf druid we were talking about managed to get through when Aragorn wasn't at home and steal his crown.
Okay. Interesting. Oh yeah, because there is the phasing.
Yeah, so
and
right now
the coast was
only
clear,
one creature
I believe. Okay.
would be unblocked. Ooh, Skyclef apparition is really nice.
But it doesn't do anything so much. It cannot target tokens. Wait, let's see if the players know about it.
Yeah, I
reading
think
the
they are
card.
reading the card.
I think they know.
In a little moment, we'll get to know that.
I know it can target tokens because it's a non-token permanent.
Yeah.
Because basically it's created so it
It
cannot,
would
cannot
go-
exile the tokens that are created
Yes.
from the previous ones.
Yes.
So you can
It
just
would
go
be insane.
exile 4 mana card, then you sack, then you return, then exile the token and you get 0.
That is why.
Yeah.
So right now, there is only one
Skyclef resolves, but for
target.
something else.
Yes, it would be probably like that elf that could fetch for anything in
Yes,
your.
or exploration.
And right now,
etc.
Sam is at 4th for life.
Yeah.
So it could be relevant because the fetching for any card in your library wouldn't be going on if the elf is exiled.
Yeah, the elf is the correct way to.
And because there is
rid
the Teferi, I don't know how it could be answered.
Yes, that's true. It resolves most likely and gets rid of it.
So
but still,
I'm
there
really
are
not sure what are we waiting for.
Just figuring out which permanent to exile. Maybe the elf is not the automatic choice as we thought.
But what else could you? Because there is
Not
that thing.
exploration, I think, not burgeoning. You have Crucible of the Worlds.
Yes.
That is also a very important
Okay.
card.
The fact that you can target non-land, non-token
because-
permanents.
Without Crucible, there are not, as far as we know, any fetch lands available.
Yeah.
So the elf still doesn't do anything without
Yes.
the Crucible. And Crucible does a lot, replaying the cards.
The trouble is that right now, when the monarch is on the other side of the table, the elf just adds to the number of blockers which you need. But you were right.
Yeah.
Skyclef apparition, exile the Crucible of Worlds. Right now, the number 3 is going to be noted on it. So in the case it's going away, the Azusa gets blue
Yeah.
token.
This is strange, but
Yep.
there are not other colored illusions, I believe.
Well, the strange thing to me is that the white card provides
the
the
blue.
opponent with the blue token.
Yes. May they wanted to do anything else than spirit.
Well, and if you want to close out the game, somehow you've got the Arena of Glory.
Yeah.
So any creature can right now be really, really big threat.
Well, in that case, there should be the Skyclave operation before, and Titan
Yes.
couldn't block, and then
Yes.
hitting for 6 in play.
Exactly.
The casting of Skyclave Apparition through Arena of Glory is kind of awkward because you need to add one mana more.
Yeah.
It is more expensive, and maybe
So-
Aragorn wants to play something for
What
mana.
happened right now was the attack from the Aragorn, making sure that the Primeval Titan cannot block.
As I thought.
And the Eldrazi spawn stepped in front of the Aragorn and then just say, see ya, I'm not going to fight with you. And
Getting sacrificed.
Getting
to not-
sacrificed
to
immediately.
deny the lifelink. Yes.
yeah, but at this state of the game, when Aragorn is at 29 life, it's a little bit of a min-maxing to make sure that your hopes for the
Hold
win
on.
are...
I thought I saw Pyroglyph on the side of the Aragorn player.
In that case, I don't understand why he wouldn't play.
There is the exile, the graveyard land untapped. So if he would step into it, the graveyard
that's the
would
land
disappear.
that like appeared like the fourth, and we were saying, oh, it's
Yeah,
not really
not
that much
relevant at all.
impactful for this game, and right now it's
Yep.
the most impactful land on the
Right.
side of Sam.
Keeping him alive, and he doesn't probably even know that.
But he's still keeping it untapped
Because
in
there's
case
exactly
it
4
might
lands.
be something.
If that land wasn't be in play, that game would
The
be
Primeval
over.
Titan is attacking, and as we could expect, there is the Tishana's Tidebinder prepared to answer the trigger
Say no.
immediately, just to make
Nice.
sure that no lands are going to enter from that library.
Yeah, and just taking 6 damage because why not?
Ooh, and I've seen 2 big spells. All is Dust and Emrakul.
Yeah, and we have enough mana to cast the Miracle, right?
Yes.
Or not?
Or All is Dust first, and then the Emrakul.
Well, just all its dust can be countered, maybe.
Yeah.
It is risky in this situation, but Emrakul is pretty safe considering he can just totally mess up Aragorn's board and
Yes.
doesn't die.
You have
in
like
the
one
process.
opportunity, only one card that can be played right now, and if you are deciding which is better for you right now, the Emrakul might be the one.
Well, let's see if Emrakul can be played, because I don't. If
I
it's
would be
like,
surprised if not, but
we have eight lands, and do we have 5 card types in graveyard?
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh,
No, in the players.
yes, but there is another
Wait,
trouble
wait,
on the
wait.
battlefield right now.
Glacial Chasm.
The
right?
glacial chasm has entered the battlefield.
Nice. So we are now on the just stalling plan, right?
Yeah, so it really seemed like that Aragorn can end up the game really quickly, but right now
Not
we
sure-
see
sure
it's not
about
going
that.
to be that easy.
Yeah. And there is the petrified field ready to do something. Oh, yes, the Ghost Gutter.
Yes.
Ghost Gutter for what exactly?
I'm not sure. The crucial thing is that the trouble is
Something
that
to-
there is that cumulative upkeep that you have to pay.
Yes.
But you can sacrifice as much lands as you need.
Yeah. Right now you cannot play lands from your graveyard.
Yeah.
The sacrificed field was the
Which
only
would
option.
make sure that you can stop and you can keep like the glacial chasm forever.
Yeah. There is also the combo with the shifting woodland
Yeah.
that you can just, when it's needed, transform the shifting woodland into the chasm. You don't need to worry about the cumulative upkeep. You just need to pay 4 mana. So you need to have the 4 mana open. And it can also copy other stuff like Titan, etc.
Ooh, and there is Urza Saga going in.
I fully expected to be sure having the shifting woodland search for, but I think maybe Urza Saga is more important right now. Pretty hard to say for me because I don't play those types of deck. As I said before, I played Loot instead of Azusa as a similar type, but not Azusa herself, and I am not that versed with the amounts of lines that the deck is.
Okay, and this is the Life from the Loam being countered by
now,
Spell Snare.
But these types of cards tend to come back with the Dredge.
The Dredge is really the problematic mechanic in Magic the Gathering, if you are familiar with it. You basically can decide not to draw a card, mill 3 cards, and put this card into your hand.
Yes, and in the addition of the Glacial Chasm, you can just sacrifice it each turn and each turn Dredge and return it back with other lands available. And if there is a counterspell from your opponent's side, you can just War Room to draw another card, to dredge it again, to recast it, etc. So, now we are here in this situation when Aragorn needs to deal with the Crucible. The Glacial Chasm. Is there any way, though?
There is that Pyrogoyf. Right now, the lands are tapped.
Yes.
And he is going to immediately. He cannot kill his opponent because of that Glacial Chasm.
And neither Primal Titan, I believe. It is not 6.
Yeah, but it can kill at least something.
Yes.
Which is the Druid that can show fetching for any land.
No attack, there's no point of that.
Which is good, because we know there are fetch lands in his graveyard.
Yeah.
And with the Life from the Loam, he could just return them to his hand and search for any land in his deck.
So Priest is dead now, and Aragorn is just gonna pass a turn. He cannot even steal the Monarch back. That is and also a pretty huge thing.
Ooh. You've just... that elf has taken the crown, put it into the mono-green territory, and then there appeared like a huge glacial chasm that cannot be crossed.
Yes. Aragorn is without the crown for a pretty long time, I suppose.
It really seemed to me like some kind of rebels taking some kind of actions against their ruler.
Yeah. Right. Seems like it. So what's the gameplay for Azusa? You are like pretty secure from dying, but what is your like gameplay now?
I think that
resolving the Emrakul would be the start, I suppose.
It would be the start. You can also try to search. You can still attack with the Primeval Titan, getting the trigger.
Yeah, when you sacrifice the Glacial Chasm, as we see right now.
Yeah, so you could be searching like for the best 2 lands. You can go for
to ultimately go for the Dark Depths combo.
Yes,
right.
That could be the case, and that could be the case that can end the game really quickly if you have cards like Lava Spur Boots or something like that.
Yeah, only that Aragorn is 24 life, so simply single Dark Depth is not.
The mana is being counted. 7, 8, 9, 10.
Plenty of that going around.
And
that seems like the Emrakul, right?
Yeah. The Emrakul is being slammed on the table.
Let's see what Aragorn has. Either in response or what just is going to happen on his side of the table.
So, the Glacial Chasm is right now in the graveyard?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, there is a pretty good idea that the trigger is not being countered. but I believe and I think that Stifle right now would just blow Azusa completely out of the water because you stifle the effect.
But you could
keep your
stifle
Emrakul,
so
right?
many effects before, so the probability that you have it in your hand is not that big.
Is this the Emrakul the world anew?
Yes, it's the new Emrakul.
Well, interesting.
Do you see the board? It's pretty good, and you would really enjoy taking it.
Nice to stall that, right?
Just to finish.
There has to be some answer.
Yeah, if there is no answer,
Capacity.
Aragorn is completely destroyed. Ooh, and I think, isn't that the counter spell that alter art, or I think it's the
Final Fantasy.
It could be the Final Fantasy counter spell.
We have stalled before. It is counter spell, so it is a counter spell.
But the interesting thing that Emrakul is Eldrazi, so the thing that you are getting the creatures is cast trigger.
Yeah, and you have them forever because you are denying basically the negative trigger that when Emrakul leaves the play.
Counter spells is even helping.
No,
Why would you do that?
Well, there is not any choice. I think this is maybe the end right there.
And even though you have a creature to block,
You just so many cards.
just say goodbye
unless
to your Aragorn.
because this attack is not lethal, Aragorn can still somewhat put some flying attacker with the Arena of Glory, unless it was used to being extorted. No, it's untapped.
No,
right?
it's untapped.
Imagine some
If you
kind
have
of
something
a flyer.
flying with haste,
Wait,
you
the
can win.
Fairyman's Mastermind.
But it would be just 2.
It was. Oh wait, the fairy can bounce the Purgoyf, and it can win the game that way.
Oh, and what?
You
This is
bounce-
also interesting.
you bounce the
You
Purgoyf.
destroy. No. You're just destroying. You are unweighting.
kill Aragorn,
The Aragorn.
recast it.
Recast it with
With
haste.
haste.
Take the monarch and
Yes.
going for 4.
Wow, that is the game, and there was like 2 different ways it can achieve.
Wow.
Wow, the Azusa really needed to get hidden behind the chasm way more. At the
And I thought that the Azusa is going to win really easily.
Right.
After that Emrakul, but this was
is crazy.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay, but this was the game 1. This was the first game that Aragorn won, and we have.
He needs to win another one.
Yes, we are getting to time. We get like 3/4 of an hour.
Yes.
Yet.
We are in half of our time for this match.
Yeah. And we will see at least one more game when Azusa is. Is this the game with the? Is this the game with the volume? I'm just like, what is this?
It was the game with the war room, and
That's crazy.
He
kept on 1 life for so much, then just starting to stabilize, and then
so all
lost
those
the game.
losing the life from the war room in the end didn't pay off. It was precisely the amount the Aragorn needed to finish.
Yeah. Well, the idea was that Emrakul didn't do anything that either lost or won the game, but the fact that Glacial Chasm got not replayed. Because most likely there was not enough mana to cast Life from Gloom and to replay all those lands.
I think that the Azusa player really thought that
He didn't just replay the lands at all.
I'm not sure, and I'm not really sure why the mana was precisely for the Emrakul. So he was on the decision if he wants to play the Emrakul and sacrifice Glacial Chasm, or and I think that the thing that he could also do would be losing 2 life, playing Emrakul and keeping the Glacial Chasm.
Right, but then he wouldn't have to attack with the Titan.
Yeah.
That was an important part of it, I suppose. Because he needed to kill the Titan, the Defere with the Titan or with another thing to not get bounced the Perglyph.
Yeah. So right now, as we are discussing, you can hear that the situation was really complicated and it wasn't easy.
Yeah, the game
for
went very long.
Azusa.
There were so many options, so many cards in graveyard, so many lands in play. It was really tough, especially so long into the today tournaments.
I've seen one thing, and I'm really curious, Hamza.
Yeah.
I've seen Michal Hruby flicking the cards in his hand.
Yeah.
It's some kind of bad habit most MTG players have. Do you do it also? Because
Flicking the cards?
yes,
Yes, sometimes it is some kind of a habit that players have. You can discuss how useful it is, but
I think it's like kind of a fidget spinner situation where
Right.
you don't have nothing to do and you just flick the cards in the hand. Me personally, I hate it, and sometimes I really see that I'm doing it too, and I'm saying like, why am I doing this?
yeah, right. On the other side of the Azusa, I see War Room in the hand again. So maybe we can see the exact same or very similar
There is
scenario.
the fountain, making sure that you gain some life in the process
Yeah,
and
first,
not lose
then
that
you
much
can-
as the last game. On the
Exactly.
other side, Meticulous Archive is going to surveil.
And honestly, in Aragorn's side, there usually most likely be another the game plan and
There's-
break the commander on turn 4 and then go
There is
for the win.
interesting comment in the chat. Bro needs to shuffle more. Lol.
Yes. Okay. Let's have the surveil and
And the card was being kept
Kept.
on the top.
Yeah.
It's the Arithmesa.
that's a sign that
on
that
the
is
side
exactly
one.
what Aragorn needs
Yep.
to have because there is a lot
Making-
of cards that it's kind of dead in this matchup as we saw the burn spells to creatures,
Yep.
galvanic discharge, etc. Not really important. Azusa getting countered
Yep.
makes complete sense, perfect sense in this situation. Do not want the opponent to run away with the game.
Yeah, there might be the War Room in hand, but if we compare those two games, there is 3 mana for the side of Azusa, but you have nothing else going on, and your opponent already got all the colors he needs.
Yeah. The surveils are there, and Aragorn gets to scalp their hand to be exactly what he needs for enough interaction and maybe even some cards to prevent all those land shenanigans like the Tishana's Timander.
Yeah, and this card also kept on the top. We are going the, I guess, Seachrome Coast? No, it's...
It's the slow land, I said. I
Yeah.
believe that comes into play untapped if you have 2 or more lands.
I was thinking about the fast land, but when you are playing the third land,
This is the opposite.
if it's slow land or if it's fast land, as the third drop, it always comes on tap.
Yes.
This is card that must be answered.
Oblivion Stone.
Yes.
Yes. And also one of the only ways for Azusa to deal with the eventual board, eventual Aragorn resolving.
I see there is the fairy mastermind in the hand. I think that Michael was thinking that if there's nothing going on, I can probably sneak in some 2/1 flying creature.
Right.
But right now, he's
Yeah. He wants to force the Oblivion
Yeah.
Stone to be used sometime and might as well be as soon as possible. So he needs, in any case, put the pressure on the opponent and try to win the game that way. You can really bank on the opponent sacrificing the chasm in the crucial turn and then having lethal
yeah.
back to back.
You can say it didn't happen.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Though.
And this is
A winding way, the mill and cap you either creatures or lands.
but you need to
card.
decide before resolving of the
yes.
spell if it's either creatures or lands.
Yes, yes. It's choose and then
You just mill 4 and you take either all lands all lands or either all creatures.
Yeah, that would be
So we're milling Crucible of Words.
Artifact Enchantment.
Artifact.
Okay.
Only one land. One land.
Right. That reminds me of the previous game we saw that Azusa like had 4 non-land cards.
And I think it's
Right
not enough
next to each other.
forests for that land to come in untapped.
That
You need like 3 forests, I guess.
for the
Yeah.
Urza's Cave.
This is Urza's Cave.
And
For
enough
that
mana-
gingerbread cabin.
Yes, at least 3
So
forest in play.
the activated ability of Fairy Mastermind is being resolved. So Azusa player draws 1 card, but Aragorn 2.
Yeah.
Right now, you again have a full grip of cards, making sure that you are prepared for anything that Azusa is going to throw at you.
Yeah. It's kind of counterproductive to voluntarily get your opponent to draw cards, but if nothing else happens and you draw more, then it is okay. in
And
this
you need
situation.
to find something, because you cannot expect the Fairy Mastermind going to finish the game on itself.
Definitely not. Especially with the stone in play. I fully expect it now to get the activation in the end of the turn from the Urza's Cave, because there was enough mana for it.
Yeah.
Right, and there's a Azusa recast, most likely, and just say what kind of interaction you wanna use it on, what kind of counterspell you wanna play, because there's most likely plenty of it.
So someone is being tapped, or maybe not.
No, Cavern of Souls is banned in Duel Commander. It's not a legal card to play.
Yeah. Ooh, there's some losing focus.
Yeah, not enough mana, losing the focus. Or
And-
4/4, so there is no way to.
And let's be
recast.
honest, it's quite late. Not every one of us is focused at this hour. And also, it's flashing. So right now, the clock is really tightening.
Yeah, and the
Archivist of Ogma.
that can draw some another cards with Urza's Cave.
You know your opponent is
When-
searching their library
A lot.
quite a lot.
Yes.
So in this matchup, it can really
All those
provide.
flashes. Yeah, and Azusa
And it
has.
could be fetches, the Primeval Titans, all those crop rotations and stuff like that. Even the Urza's Cave, that is right now in the play, can be sacrificed to search for land. So pretty nice for
There is a Pyrogoyf and Fury. Not exactly very exciting right now, but there is
You are just going to attack and try to.
no Aragorn though. Well, you want to have the Monarch as soon as possible now. Especially if your opponent doesn't
I
have
think
an
that
exact
you have
card
enough
to
cards.
provide you.
And it could be really tricky, because as we've seen the last game, the Monarch has been stolen and then being kept behind the glacial chasm, which was really an issue for some kind of a.
Azusa again.
Oh. It seems that Sam is really relying on resolving of Azusa,
Yeah, I really wants it into play.
and it
matter
is
what.
in the play.
Alright.
So you're getting the Castle Garenbrick, you are getting the
And the
Ghost
Glacial
Waters
Chasm.
and the Glacial Chasm.
Right. So there has to be the sacrifice. And you are set to just keep yourself hidden after it forever.
Yeah.
And that is the answer to the Oblivion Stone. But with Chasm in play,
It's
it's,
not
that
bad,
necessary.
but
right?
with the you got rid of one thing that you knew that is going to stick around and threaten you, but right now with the Glacial Chasm in play,
The Capital Commando should also be able to destroy lands.
well, it would be really upgrade to this card
Right. Or Glacial Chasm
for a
was
common
an artifact.
from the standard set, which
Yeah.
it was. It really does a lot right now. So we cannot expect that much going on.
Reminder for the cumulative upkeep on the Azusa side and Ajane on the Aragorn. That's nice to have. Not doing much with the chasm
You are
in
just
play though.
building the board, but it's too late. With the glacial chasm in play,
The board might be important when the chasm gets eventually sacrificed.
yeah,
There
eventually.
will usually be some other
We know
follow-up.
there's no Crucible of Worlds. It's already in the graveyard because it's been milled, I guess, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was one of the cards from the Winding Way.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what now? Some kind of.
But we
There's
know
a-
that there are more effects
Yeah.
that can
That's plenty of
make you
lands.
able.
Right.
And this is going to take a long time.
Maybe there's an Emrakul again and it's not going to take any time at
Yeah,
all.
you've just built your board to give it to your opponent and
Yeah.
die by it.
Right.
Or maybe it's just activation of war rooms again.
Yeah, we are in the No,
It's not.
no, it's
Again, as I
The
don't
elf
know
guy.
which person mentioned it, and we can see that there has been raid in the stream from from Yellow Water. Thank you very much for
Okay.
raiding us. With
Hello, everyone. Thank you for raiding us so much. We are here pretty late in our Dual Commander tournament. It is semifinals.
But you've come for the best right now. You are going to see the semifinals and finals afterwards, so stick around and enjoy. It's Gabriel Nessiev, I guess. Nessiev.
right.
So thank you, Gabriel, very much.
Wow. Okay. Now we really need to try to bring out a game, right? There is a Fury dealing with the elf.
Yeah,
It needs
I
to
guess so.
be dealt with. There is not a fetch land right away, but it is still because this is the suspect that stolen the monarch in the previous game. So let's not repeat that and get rid of it right away.
Yes. And as we've seen the Fury in the hand, I was thinking like, that's some kind of a dead card right now. But in this case, it can really help.
Yeah, finally get some creature in play to use it on. Finally some pretty good target for it.
Ooh, and there is the shifting woodland.
Yes.
And if you have the delirium, you just don't need to worry about the glacial chasm cumulative upkeep cost.
As I said before, this is pretty much the full combo.
And if I remember, there is the artifact, the Crucible of Words. There also is the sorcery
And
that has been
enchantment,
built.
the Sylvan Library.
Yes,
Was revealed before.
and the land. So I think that the delirium is
Yeah.
already active.
Definitely. And if there was not enough tutor cards, then we have also the Urza's Cave to search yet another land.
Yes.
So the Glacial Chasm but stays for at least one more turn to really make Azusa safe. What is Aragorn gonna do about it? Because I believe, Parallax Wave.
Well, the question
It
was
has-
in the air before the game, in the game, and even right now, and still, we've seen that the only answer to is that your opponent sacrifices the Glacial Chasm and opens himself, which happened the last game. Right
Yes.
now, even if he sacrifices the Glacial Chasm, you are still able to activate the Shifting Woodlands and be pretty much alright.
Right. Okay. We'll see what Azusa will do if there is the final time to go into the offensive when
Yep.
the shifting woodland is in play, or just playing something else for value. And just get some lands back from the graveyard. this is the...
I think that the shifting rule copied the Crucible of Words, so you are able to be replaying the lands from your graveyard, because you have Azusa also, so you are gaining some life, gaining some fetches, and I guess it's the Ghost Quarter?
Yes. So just value play, value turn,
So you can
getting
just
as
be
much
replaying,
lands into play.
making sure that Glacial Chasm stays.
And right now, the elf that makes all lands forests is in the graveyard. So eventually, if shifting cool lands copies the elf, you can fetch for any land.
Which is why I think that this Misty Rainforest is going to be fetched immediately. It's going to be fetched another turn just to look for any kind of land that you want.
Yeah, and Azusa could really start assembling some kind of
And
winning.
Aragorn really needs cards. Really needs to dig through the library if there is at least something. So just playing Aragorn for the Monarch, having that extra draw.
The time is now, and there's nothing else like spend the mana on. So just.
But the fetch is being fetched immediately.
Just fetched for the forest. And let's see if the player thinks about the archivist.
I don't know what the thought process is behind it. Probably just the deck thinning, making sure that you draw some big payoff like Ugin, Emrakul.
You need to have as much mana as possible. Yeah. There's no limit to what mana is enough. And if you play Azusa,
you can do the same. You can make Shifting Woodlands Crucible of Words and replay the lands from your graveyard. Right now the Glacial Chasm is going into the graveyard, but it can return in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just one activation of Shifting Woodlands away from that.
Okay. Upstairs go Entertainment.
Yes.
Not best card right now. This is the situation when your graveyard is much more valuable than your opponent, because Perogoyev got exiled. That's also the case.
So we can probably play just like an extra land.
This was Shifting Woodland activation.
Yes, and you are getting the best lands. You are getting the Misty Rainforest, you are getting the Glacial Chasm, which is completely understandable.
Combo, getting back your lands, plus copying the elf, plus having enough mana to use it to copy the Glacial Chasm, you need bunch of mana, 3 times 4 mana, 4 activations.
When you are standing against such a situation, it must be really stressful, because you would like to squash your opponent under the power of the creatures that are on the battlefield, but you simply cannot. And there is almost nothing you can do about it, and it must feel really hopeless, really desperate, and really unpleasant.
Right. This is a similar situation when we had today with Flaps and his ensnaring bridge.
Yeah.
Just hiding behind it, denying the opponent to kill you.
In most of the cases, it feels like there is that only one small creature bullying you and making fun of you, and you cannot do anything about it. It's just there reminding you that you had it, and right now you don't have it.
Yeah. Well, what does the Aragorn do now? Plenty of mana. I believe I might have seen the Tishana Steinbinder in the hand again.
Well, there's some kind of interaction.
Parallax Wave. Not doing much right now. Possibly some interaction.
Yeah, but you can make sure
that is a huge insulation from, for example, the Dark Depths.
Yeah.
So each turn it remains into play. The opponent cannot go for the combo because the token just vanishes at instant speed.
Right now it targeted Azusa.
Yeah.
And the question is if the Azusa is going under or if she goes to the command zone. And because I would be really surprised if it would go under the Parallax Wave.
Well, she's for what? 7 mana?
I guess so, that right now.
That's not really the kind of mana you want to play for.
But you can afford it.
Yeah, but you still have more important things to do, I believe.
Yeah, but with the glacial chasm going back and forth from the graveyard to the battlefield because of having the shifting woodlands, I think that you can afford it. There is the cabin, the gingerbread one, providing you food.
Right, this card again. Well, we are in a situation when there is. Do we have enough forest? I believe so. There is one from the shifting woodland. I suppose, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there is a buffered forest hidden under. No, but I believe that now Azusa, since it locked the game up and couldn't really die because of the chasm, needs to find some way to win before Aragorn just eventually draws all the right answers from the monarch and has like
There is like counting
double
1, 2,
stifles.
3, 4.
It looks like the Emrakul counting again, right? Or something big.
Is that all is dust?
Yep. All is maybe gonna be dust, maybe not.
Yeah.
It does a lot.
You've tried to
in
build the
situation.
board and
Well,
it could be dealt
this
with
is like
immediately.
the-
And you also, if it resolves, you deal with the parallax wave. And this is interesting. This is
Yeah.
the way how you can protect it. You can just take the best stuff you have, put it under the parallax wave,
Let
then
it resolve.
It gets sacrificed, and everything comes back.
yeah, the parallax wave just kind of reset.
I'm not
the
sure
stuff.
if that's the line that Sam realized that Michal can do,
I believe it did.
because you've spent your 9 mana just to deal with the parallax wave
Well, it's
and nothing
7,
else.
but also you needed the parallax wave to go, so
Yeah.
you can eventually go for the combo
Yeah.
and kill the opponent with the dark depths.
But it was pretty much everything. It was the only way how it affected the board state.
Yeah, but better than nothing, I suppose. Just enough mana to activate the shifting woodlands again. I would be surprised if Michael didn't make him do it just to use up the mana. Well, but there is how many lands in play exactly? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. That's not enough for 2 activations, right? So maybe if there is a Tischen's Time Bender counters one of the activation, the second one cannot get through, and Aragorn might win this turn.
Might.
The wolf.
Might.
Wow. We'll see about
And
that.
let's be honest, it would be something like a miracle, really unlocking this pretty much locked game.
Right, and it might get to the Azusa to have him again try some play that doesn't work, and
Yes.
then it backfires.
It backfires really nasty into your face.
There is a Tischen's Time Bender, right?
Yes.
And
I
only
think I've seen
one mana activation for it. Okay, there's the food, but still, even with the food, that's 10 life, and there's enough.
4, 2,
It's like
2, 2,
12, I believe.
Yes, it's 12.
12 attack,
So even
and then we will wait. What? It resolves or what? Really though? Wait, no, no. There is a search from
Yeah.
the Urza's cave,
yes,
but then it might be the end. What else prevents from dying?
there is counting.
What else prevents the death, right? Or this will be the Time Binder to just not risk it?
Could be.
Wait, there is a land that copies a land in the graveyard, the Echoing Cave.
Ooh, that's right. The Echoing Cave,
That
the famous
is
land that the
this
Primeval
time.
Titan on the modern is probably winning most of the matches with that goddamn loop.
Yeah.
And right now it could be the Echoing. Ooh, I think it's Eye of
it's
Ugin.
Eye of Eugene. But what about the attack right now? Or was it the end of the turn?
It might be in the end. But I don't know why the game would pro.
Why would you not attack?
Yeah,
To at least
but
force...
it was the end step.
What? Okay, interesting. Oh no, we haven't seen the
Glacial
chasm.
chasm.
It's already in play.
Yeah,
I believe from the previous activation.
it went to the graveyard so many times that we thought it's still in there, but it's not. It's being showed off, and right now, as I'm speaking about it, it goes back to the graveyard.
Yeah. So now finally the coast is clear.
And
for
right now you have
potential
the Eye of
attack.
Ugin just to make sure that you find the thing you really need to close up the game.
What first though?
Yes.
Find some Eldrazi and be potentially blown out, because there is still the Tishanes Timebinder, and if there is some
Yeah.
gain control of your creatures, gain control of your next turn, it can get countered and then death.
There is a replay of the glacial chasm. The shifting woodlands became the crucible of worlds probably,
Yeah.
and bringing back the misty rainforest, and the glacial chasm immediately sacrificing one land. I think it's on repeat, going on and on and on in my head. And I think that if I'm going to sleep tonight, that I'm going to dream about this glacial chasm cycle,
Right.
because right now I cannot see anything else going on.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
replaying lands from your graveyard and doing nearly nothing.
As we confirmed before, there is no cryptic command on Aragorn's side in his deck even, so there is one possible way to deal with chasm that's not on the board. There is the Tishanes Timebinder, but it doesn't work like right now.
Yes. There's the activation of the Fairy Mastermind right
Yep.
now.
You need to have more cards to have enough interaction, so one turn maybe all the interaction combined can be enough to finally push to the end of a game. Burgeoning trigger, counting,
Yeah.
maybe putting something in play. Yeah, forest, nice.
Surprise.
What now?
Well, the interesting thing is that there are many forests, but there is one snow-covered forest.
Okay. To note though, we have 17 more minutes until the end of this round, and the Aragorn is winning right now. So Azusa really needs to pick up the pace and try to win this game
Yeah.
at least. And we have the confirmation of if Azusa wins this game and it's the same score, then after the time is done, the higher HP is going to win.
Yes.
We need to decide the end of the game sometime to move on.
So if Azusa doesn't find anything for like the next 16 minutes, it might be the end.
And here comes the Emrakul.
Here comes the Emrakul. It's
Because
not the
the
one
eye
we've
doesn't
seen
miss.
the last game, it's the other one. I
Yeah.
think it's the Emrakul, the promised end.
Yeah, the gain control of your turn, Emrakul, right. Another halfling trigger. There is still the Timebinder to deny anything game turn control-ish. So it just boils down if Azusa drops down his guard and lets the glacial chasm go.
Yes. So these
Or not.
Jeskai decks, we've got the Satya, we've got the Aragorn many times on our feature match, and every time Tishana Tidebinder was the crucial card
Yeah.
that really was the answer for nearly anything that could mean the loss of the game for you,
Right.
and really could be advantageous. So this card,
Very
strong.
useful in any matchup. You can counter important ETB triggers, you can counter fetch lands, you can deny, for example, in the first game, the flaps,
Yes.
and lose his abilities.
well, we'll see what will happen right now. A lot of cards in hand. No,
I think
graveyard.
it's,
It was it
end
was
of turn.
No, end of turn. Yeah.
Wow. That might be meaning that there are only useful cards in the hand, right? And plenty of them.
Which would be unlucky if
Chasm stayed and the cumulative upkeep was paid.
Yes.
Drive.
Right now the Abstergo comes in.
Yeah. And there is the question: do you plan on exiling the graveyard? What do you want to copy, or what do you can copy with the shifting woodland? You probably do not want to lose the graveyard as you lose the shifting woodland. That is the main thing that keeps you like permanently alive.
Yeah. There are many things you can go for. You have the Eye of Ugin also. You have, I guess, like the Emrakul
And
that
here
is
we go.
going to be played. And right now, what is going to be the case?
Counting the remaining mana because there is, for example, some remand
Yes.
to
Or some really huge loose focus.
remand would be kind of funny because
But the Tishana Stylebinder goes
that's
to the
pretty
table.
obvious. That is the right way to answer this threat. And Member Lapse or Force of Will.
But there is still a big, huge flying trample, Eldrazi. No, it's not flying, it's not trampling, it doesn't have protection. It would be just 13/13.
Yes.
It's huge.
But
And that's
there is
everything.
the decision if it gets countered or not.
Yeah.
If it gets countered, then Shifty Woodland can become the copy of it.
Yeah.
And start hitting for 13 through
Yeah.
the air. And if not, it's going to
It would
try
be
to
basically 2-turn clock.
countered and going to exile. No more lies. Probably gonna get paid, which is what happened. And what else? What's the follow up?
You need to have something else. I think like I can see
Yeah, you wouldn't do that otherwise.
Force of Will.
Yeah.
And there's something that would be pitched. Remand being
Remand
pitched.
is not a good idea.
Right now it's too late for remanding
Yeah.
anything. And the Emrakul is in the graveyard. And
Right.
it's not exiled. So the shifting woodlands can really become a copy of it.
Yeah, not relevant with the glacial chasm in play, but afterwards, when the chasm goes away, you can really start going for the win and winning the game. And Azusa going for the win would mean we will have the third game going on.
Yeah,
Only
but
11 minutes.
don't be afraid,
to the
it
end
won't
of
take
their
long.
turns.
There is only 11 minutes clock ticking right now.
To the end of the match, no matter what.
Yes.
What is gonna be? Solitude. That is also a pretty good interaction.
Would be.
If Shifting Woodland would become a copy, there would be just an exile. Getting rid of it, no,
think-
but there is going to be another Eldrazi.
Yeah. I think
Possibly
this
the
is the activation
previous
of the
one.
Eye of Ugin.
The I don't know what's name, but the new
The
one that takes
really
control
shiny.
of the creatures.
Yes, from the Modern Horizons 3.
And if it's going to be followed up with discard sacrificing the glacial chasm, we might possibly see the scenario from the previous game.
Yeah, it might. It's nearly the same. The life totals are pretty much the same, 4 to 20 something, which is the interesting and crucial thing is that 4
Yeah.
on the side of Azusa. But right now there is also the food and no stifle effect in hand to really make sure that the opponent doesn't eat.
Right. Okay.
So there is some watching into the graveyard.
Yeah, not for the Emrakul discount, but for something else. If there is relevant graveyard hate.
Yeah, there is like a question in the chat that asks after that what sudden death? No. After that, if the timer goes off, the bigger life wins. Yes, thank you, Emelson53 for repeating the thing already. But sometimes the true must be repeated to make sure that everybody can hear it. And there is also the Emrakul back again. So, is it going to be countered, that trigger ability?
Again.
And
bouncing time miner maybe.
Bouncing.
Something like that. Okay. There is lots of options. The situation.
Yeah. If you wanted to see Azusa, well, today you had like nearly 3 hours of Azusa gameplay.
We had some in the base rounds.
No. I just think about this round and the previous one, because both were really long ones.
Yeah, that tends to be the case with Azusa. They primarily are geared towards surviving and then winning.
Yeah. And there is that solitude you've mentioned.
Yeah, but thing is, there's the protection. Wait, what get exiled? Aragorn? Yeah, so it can be recast, possibly. So, solitude for Aragorn, and then gain control of all that.
Okay.
And Emrakul resolve, so there is the trigger possible.
You also got the Cabaret Courtyard right now, just to make sure that you have more life.
Yeah.
What else? Hull Breacher.
Well, that does solve everything. Not.
Yes. It's pretty good card in Dual Commander, especially when your opponent is drawing cards. The best thing if your opponent plays the Brainstorm and you cast the Hull Breacher in response.
Okay.
But this is Azusa. There is going to be no Brainstorm.
What I want to ask now is, where is the glacial chasm?
Yeah.
Is in the graveyard?
It's the important question, and it's in the graveyard because, again, that's the same situation as before.
Is there a possible haste? There is the
possible haste.
Oh my god! And is this the same situation?
It is.
Emrakul bringing the end.
We need to make sure that only one thing has haste, and your opponent is.
No, the Hull Breacher went in the end step.
It was flashed in.
It was already in play.
And the glacial chasm being in the graveyard and not having enough mana to activate the shifting woodlands would mean that you are swinging for 9.
Fantastic. Is the Aragorn really going to be able to win like that?
Let's not celebrate preemptively and wait for the situation to resolve, but it might be the case.
5 + 3, 8.
Exactly the same way as the last game.
And it is attack for 9.
Yeah, there was the echoing.
Oh
I
my
think
god.
that was the revelation of the echoing depths going from the hand, just to look. There is the food being eaten, but you're still attacking.
This is 9. This
for
is 9.
And handshake.
We are
and as you
done.
can see,
Aragorn has won the game and the match also. After some grueling turns with glacial chasm,
I couldn't think.
cooling us down.
Well,
Wow.
it's said that doing mistake once is something that is natural, and you cannot do it the next time. But right now we can see the same mistake,
twice in the same row.
situation twice in a row.
sacrificing,
underestimating
playing
the Aragorn and his unblockable ability and the hasty because of the detective, and he knew about the detective's Phoenix because he was looking in his graveyard multiple times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
wow,
we hope you were not bored and that the end of this match got you really entertained. Stay a while.
If not the game themselves, the entire thing, that the end at least was.
And we are
really
going
crazy.
to spoil you a little thing before we go to the break. There is already a finalist waiting for the final round, and we've seen this player. And we've seen this player lose really tremendously on our feature match. For the finals, you will get the Aragorn versus Muxus Goblin Grandee, the mono-red Goblin creature deck. So most likely, it's not going that much time as it did with Azusa.
Because after he lost in the feature match, he won every single round afterwards. Okay.
So, thank you for being here with us. We are going to take a little break, and after that, we are going to bring you the last match of today.
Stay for the finale.
Stay for the finals.
Yes.